Next up, we have gate 38, which is opposition and the gate of the fighter. And it's part of individual knowing circuitry, and it's going to hook up to the spleen.
If anyone's got this gate, you struggle, you sort of fight with things a little bit. It's a guarantee that there'll be a melancholy that comes out of this gate that says, I'm not sure what to struggle for. My fight energy doesn't seems to lack a little bit of purpose. So you'll get, and think about what that does. It puts you on to the scent and the trail of where's the purpose. So the melancholy guarantees the intelligence, in this case, in this gate. It guarantees your future intelligence. And by the way, that future intelligence can be 20 minutes from now, literally, or it could be weeks or days or a year from now. It's hard to say. But it is an adrenalized fighter. It seeks to oppose as a way of testing, and it wants to do that without losing its place amongst the people, amongst the sharing, amongst the purpose finding, amongst the empowerment. So it's not like it's trying to be a fighter per se right in your face, but this is that. And it shows up mostly in conversation, obviously. It's not just putting up your fists about something. In fact, that'd be rare. And,
Yeah.
it's not the common, but it is there for that too. Times a fighter can come out for purpose. It's fighting for purpose. That's the best way to put it. That's a pretty big statement. I'm fighting for purpose. Someone tells you that and you see they're doing something and they turn around and say, hey, I'm fighting for a purpose. Everybody will understand. It's like, oh, wow, I guess I'm not going to hold you back from doing that. Good deal. You do that. We understand that. And that's what gate 38 is to do. So it's a pretty deep place, right? What is that purpose? Purpose has got a lot of meaning in it. So, you're going to have a lot of struggle getting out exactly what you mean when you have this gate. And that's a good thing because it sharpens things and it hones it down. Don't let it turn into what an open root center does and be in a hurry to get through all of that. Right?
Yeah. Easier said than done.
Well, you'll lose it. Do you have a 38?
Yes, I do. I have the 30.
Does it ring true what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I'm sitting here laughing quietly to myself.
I love it when that happens.
All the time. Yeah. That fight for an individual purpose, the individual of like, what is worth fighting for? Like there is that drive that very rarely is going to be actually like physical fist fighting, but like that energy of it, like that is the graphic of the energy that feels in there. Like, all right,
Yep.
we got to go to blows. Let's go. Like it's ready for when something is worthwhile to fight for in that individual purpose driven kind of way.
Under adrenalized pressure, balancing fear and trust in an individual circuitry that must await the pulse for when it will turn on, turn off, give you the answer, hold back the answer. It's not up to us. There's the helplessness that we often talk about. Someone asked me the other day about that helplessness, and I gave it like an 80-20 or maybe a 75-25. I was like, we partake in that, so sometimes we can make it a little less helpless, ish. But the large, vast supermajority is in this, nothing we can do about it. It shows up for us, then we deal, and it's sort of a one-way street like that. It's not like, I don't know how you feel about that. I'm still working on that. It may be 100% helpless. Ra would say 100% helpless, mostly. I'm negotiating with my captor.
So you said something now a couple times because you said it with like the last gate as well, this alternating between fear and trust.
In this root center holding our adrenals. The adrenal glands are an incredible mechanism. They're a whole thing all onto themselves, right? And I say fear and trust, and it's a different word. I don't balancing. It is sort of balancing between fear and trust, but the fear is that it's not. I can't trust it. So between trust and not trust, it's
Is
not
it
an awareness center, but it's adrenalized cocktail mixturizes itself inside the chemistry of your body based on the entire being's awareness of its trust or lack of trust of where that adrenalized movement will now push you, move you. or withdraw you from.
So the fear and trust thing, though, just specifically, is that about root gates in general? Then, like, okay, that
All
was
of root,
cool.
all of root.
That was the
Yes.
foundational context that I was looking for on that one.
Sorry, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah.
It's
It's
okay. You're a manifesting generator. You sometimes skip that step.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just here to bring it
All
back
the
to the
root gates,
context. All
and
the
the
root.
whole root itself is balancing this again, this chemistry cocktail of fear and trust and lack of trust, and it's only as it relates to its department. It's the adrenals department, and the adrenals, when they release, we move. Do I trust this movement or not? Does it trust or not? And the adrenals will kick in more. Thought so, not good, get out. And that's what adrenaline's for, to turn on a dime, to turn on a dime. I mean, that's one of the things it's for. This beautiful attunement we get with our body, especially between here and the sacral, but it's here. Anything from you? You got one.
I've got one. I do have one. Yeah, I mean, it's fighting energy. It's that individual drive of looking for purpose and, knowing how
How
to
about
fight when you need to
opposition?
fight.
Opposition. Opposition is a way. So when someone says something, does the fighter say, well, also, but maybe, but actually?
Often,
Okay.
very, very often, I'll definitely experience that one.
So audience, first of all, I love you all individually. And secondly, this is a genetic proclivity inside of humanity that guides our intelligence and helps keep us in movement together. Think about that. I say that's pretty cool.
I like that you bring up the opposition aspect of Gate 38, not just the fighter, because I think the fighter is just easier. I'm like, oh, the fighter, it's very fighty. But the nature of opposition is very interesting, of like the individual drive to oppose, where you're like, no, like this is not aligned with my purpose. This is not aligned with the purpose and the struggle that you can find in Gate 28 of like what is worth, like the splenic intuition of knowing what is worth opposing, so that individual drive to oppose something that is against individual purpose.
Think of what goes on in this world, just in communities, politically, in the larger landscape, amongst the towns, at the school board, at the town meeting, right? There is opposition amongst each other, and what does it do? It when we allow it, it forges something really good.
Mm-hmm.
This would be a gate we could say helps coin the phrase of we compromised, nobody got what they wanted, but we'll be okay. You know, the opposition makes sure that that happens to some degree. So this is a vital part of the human condition. If your partner or someone you love or yourself and you feel misunderstood, this is why. Maybe announce it. And if you like in a partner or a child that has it, don't correct them. I mean, we call it in so we can have a nice, long, in-depth talk about that to see what would be your strategies and the things you should become aware of for your partner that has this gate in their body graph, so that it can start to not matter that sometimes they oppose things. Because I bet everyone with a 38, the partners of all the 38s out there can say this man or this woman opposes things on just on principle, just because if you said a thing, whatever the opposition is, that's what he or she adopts for a minute or two. It's I'm not saying it would be like that for sure, but they would have moments of like that.